talk a little bit of football. We're going to talk a little bit about the Saints, give you guys a Niners versus Saints preview, what our thoughts are going to be about the Saints, and what do the Niners need to do to get a win tomorrow. So with that said, Eman, what do the Niners need to do to get that win tomorrow?
Well, first of all, we need to get better on the offense. We have to move the ball. We have to keep drives alive. There was a quick hope of spark there with the running game against Green Bay, but we're gonna have to fire on all cylinders. We'll have our starting left tackle back, so that should help with some of the pressure. Um, I just hope that we can keep the chemistry going with Richie and Nick going into this game, and then on the secondary end, our secondary has to protect that deep ball better. Can't let Breeze just have a field day on us.
Mike wants to hold on. Keep talking to the Mike wants to come in.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, we're not going to continue to just say this is where we're at because of injury or anything like that. We still have a game to play on Sunday, and I hope that we dress the. I'm having faith that we dress the best players that we can possible for this game. I don't expect a lot of pressure. Drew Brees is really good at eluding pressure. He don't take that many sacks, so it's going to put a strain on our secondary to perform better, to be better in coverage. Definitely a lot better than we were last week. Um, Nick and then on the offensive side, we just have to execute. We'll get Kendrick Bourne back. We'll have Richie. We'll have Brandon Ayuk. Jordan Reed should play, and Dwelly. Still no Debo. Unfortunately, no Mostert. So we just got to be inventive. I feel like that Kyle's not reaching into the playbook like he was before, just because certain players are out. We do have players that can work on those strengths. Even though Debo's out, Brandon Ayuk showed that he can run the ball on those jet sweeps. So, you know, just can't be scared that another player is going to go down to injury. We have to go out and give it our all because we're still in the chase and we can come back healthy and we can still make a run at this and get our players back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tanisha, Roberto, Will, David Williams, welcome. Vera, welcome. Brian, welcome to the show. We were not able to go on the show last night. Some technical difficulties took place, but we definitely wanted to come on here, man, talk to you guys tonight, and just kind of do a little preview of tomorrow's game. We're going to be as realistic as possible, man. We're not going to feed you guys a bunch of BS. We're going to keep it 100% real with you guys. What we expect the Niners to do, what the outcome is going to be based on our personnel. Now, keep in mind, if we say the Niners are going to lose, it's not because we're not faithful or we don't believe in our team. We're being realistic based on the personnel that it's going to be on the field. Now, do we want to win? Of course. Do we desire to win? Of course. Nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to tank. But for me and E-Man, I think I can speak for E-Man. Correct me if I'm wrong, E-Man. But we're not going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, the Niners are going to go in there and they're going to compete and they're going to blow the Saints and we're going to, we have a victory. If we were going in there full force, what I mean by that is with Jimmy G, both with Kittle, pretty much nobody hurt, then we can give you a better preview of that game. But going in there with Nick Mullins, no Debo, no Raheem Mostert, correct?
No Mostert.
No Mostert, no Kittle, no Tart on the defense, no more K1 Alexander. Now he's going to be playing for the Saints, so he's going to be motivated to hit our running back, and it's probably going to be Jared McKinnon, right?
Jed's gonna get the start, and then Hasty be right behind him.
Do you know this guy on the screen?
Man,
He's been kind of like stalking this podcast. What's up, Kenny?
hey, what's going on?
How you
What's up,
doing?
Kenny?
If you guys don't know, this Kenny guy right here is the younger, better looking brother
He's
of
older.
Mr. Older. Excuse me, older, better looking than E-Man. Although E-Man's not a bad looking guy, right, ladies? E-Man's all right. Look, now he's blushing. Now he's blushing.
I said the same. I said the same thing last week. As far as us being able to run the ball and keep opposing quarterbacks off the field, but even when we did do things effectively, we didn't wrap up in the secondary. Like we blew it. We got to be able to get off on third down. And as much as people really don't want to hear this, New Orleans is a better football team than Green Bay, hands down,
Yeah,
all the way around. They're better built for. So I mean, it could be a very long day if we don't play well. Um, Although I think we could have worked towards their weaknesses a little bit better when they weren't able to cover our receivers. So we probably should have spread them out a little bit more. But that's just not what we do. So
correct.
it's something that Kyle did when he was in Atlanta. But
I had to put that up there. I hope not, brother.
no,
I hope not.
no, Josh Johnson is on the practice squad, and he would be a third. He would be our third QB. Well, behind if you're we're not counting Jimmy, of course, because he's on IR, but he's just taking up space.
What's up? What's
What's
up?
up, Mike?
Florida Mike, welcome, sir.
What's going on, Chief? You know, this is the first episode. I just realized I didn't have anything Niner on. I have to keep my streak going, so I need to get you something Niners. Hold on.
All right, bro.
Yeah, he had to take that Marlins crap off.
That would be Marvin's royalty. Here's my Niner.
Oh,
My Niner. I'm broke, so you don't have to worry about stealing from me. I have my Niner
well,
wallet.
hey, look
There you
at
go, there you
Beto's
go.
house though. Beto done went out and cheated on you as far as realtor was and got a new house. Check it out.
Hey, that's okay because I bet I could get a better deal than what he got.
Dang,
He
like
over
that.
he overpaid for that.
I sure did,
Overpaid
bro.
for that.
I sure did.
And what Beto doesn't know is he paid more in closing costs and the plumbing sucks. Now that's the house that I like right there.
You know.
That stuff would drive me crazy.
My streak is alive. Go Niners. You'll never see me on the show without Niner attire or something Niner paraphernalia. Never.
Okay,
Go Niners.
let's bring the Boston hater in here. Let me move out of the way.
Oh man, Boston hater.
We don't leave him behind.
What
Bro.
a
Hey man, I want to
Oh,
give
yeah,
a big
forget-
shout out to Corey Davis too, man. Give a big shout out to Corey Davis, man. Corey Davis showed me love on my real estate. Much love to Corey Davis.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as we'd like to talk about the quarterback situation, I don't think that's something that we're just not going to get into right now. There's no. I actually went on Instagram, and I think it was what is his name? The not Grant Cohen, but there was another guy that normally talk. He's been talking about us getting Sam Darnold, and I said I went on his page, and I said, see, this is. I used to watch the show because some remarks he would actually say were kind of okay, but when you say ignorant stuff like that, it's just like, why would we want to take a step back for as far as our franchise goes? I mean, it's just, yeah, I would take a one-legged Alex Smith or Jimmy Garoppolo over a guy that sees ghosts on the field. any day of the week. But yeah, I don't think we're in the worst situation as far as our quarterback goes. Now there's teams that are really in dire need. We are physically beaten up, just have been all season. Couldn't have drawn a better hand. I mean, a worse hand. I'm sorry. So yeah, I mean, it would make a great story if we were able to make it into the playoffs and right into the sunset.
Nathaniel says, "What's up, Boston haters?" The picture was taken in Central Park, New York City. But yeah, so going to tomorrow's game, the reason we decided to go live tonight is because we were not able to do that yesterday. Before you stopped in, Florida Mike, we were just talking to the viewers, the real expectations of tomorrow's game. We're playing the Saints, which Eric mentioned a few minutes ago that the Saints right now are a better team than the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if there's a better quarterback, but there's definitely a better team defensively and offensively. And we saw what happened to us with the Packers. What kind of game do you think we're going to have against the Saints tomorrow, Florida? Mike?
Well, I mean, the way we've been playing, it really doesn't matter who we're playing against. We've had the same type of dismal performance. So honestly, Saints, Packers doesn't matter. I mean, we didn't fare too well against other opponents in recent weeks that were considered lesser than, like, the teams we've been playing. So I don't really expect us to do much, considering that we haven't really shown the ability to do so. I do think that this is a good opportunity for us to analyze what we have as backups. So going forward next year, contracts and see what we have as depth. It's easier to assess the team now, and then hopefully we get better. And it's like it's kind of weird. Like this might be a trend. Like the year before we went to the Super Bowl, had injuries in key positions, especially with the quarterback being out for most of the season. Then we came back, and last year we didn't really have any significant injuries. This year we got a ton of significant injuries. Maybe next year we don't have any. So it's just crazy, man. So we'll see. But as long as we compete, I'm all right, man.
Right on.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to have a group of guys that just go out there and just drag ass or anything like that. We want players that can actually go out there and compete and show that they're wanting to be a part of this crew. Like even going into next year. But yeah, I agree. Being able to go out and show that we can contend as far as go blow for blow with New Orleans would mean a lot more. I mean, so like you were saying in soccer, like when a team can come back and tie or stay competitive the whole match. That's what I mean. With the amount of injuries we have, I would love for us to go in and win, or just stay competitive. Definitely want the W though as a fan. But yeah, we have to execute. We have to play on all cylinders, play to our strengths, and adjust. I mean, if there's something, and you may not be able to adjust because of lack of personnel. I mean, so you're asking players that are not really supposed to be out on the field to step up and play better than they are, and it just depends on the player, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to tie. I'd rather just take a ass whooping, or for us to actually win this game. It would be great. Even if we lose the rest of our team, if we win this game against the Saints, just so the Saints will shut up, I'm happy. They're the equivalents of Boston to me.
So, E man, how is it out there in Louisiana where Are the Aints fans just trash talking people like you because you're a Niner fan in that state?
They're still trash talking Dallas fans, even when both teams have a losing record. It's like, oh, y'all both lost this week, but oh, we didn't lose just as bad, or it's ignorant.
So it's safe to assume that the Aints fans don't like the Cowgirls like more. So
Oh no, absolutely not.
I mean, as a
And they
Niner
give us
fan, how is it for
49er.
you? How
They
is
give
it
us
for you?
crap too.
I mean, is that just what they do with everybody, basically? Just New Orleans versus the world?
Yeah, they came out of the woodworks after winning one Super Bowl. Like they've been fans the whole
I
time,
remember.
and yeah, it's just has always been.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because if you're a Niner fan and you live in another state, you're going to get a lot of grief from the people of your state because they're like they have their own NFL team. You know, for those that have an NFL team, so I can imagine Louisiana is pretty diehard. You know, out there. But that's brave of you, my friend. That's good. You know, big shout out to you,
Yeah,
man, for representing them Niners.
my brother went down to New Orleans last year, where that game was close, and I could only imagine how mad they were. Like it must have been suicide walking out of that stadium.
Yeah, I was looking to see what their reaction was like. You know, I'm sure I can find some stuff on YouTube. But I know going in, they were who that, all that crap they chant, and after that, they got the answer of who that, George Kittle, when he drugged those players, which was phenomenal. But yeah, I've not been a fan of the Saints. You know, I remind them, just remember when they was in the NFC West back in the '90s. You know, it was a wrap. So, but it's all good. You know, they got it to one little high Super Bowl win. And this year they're probably looking to take out revenge from last year. I'm sure they remember last year very well.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a sore. Even reflecting onto this year, this is one of the most anticipated games coming into this year for us was the rematch of that game because I mean, both teams were projected to be contenders going into this, and as much as I mean, technically we still are contenders for a playoff spot. So I mean, this is it doesn't to me. It's not the same level as of that it would be if we had all our players. Like I honestly wouldn't be worried. Not as much, no. But I just feel like we just play better when well we could have. I would have felt better if Mostert played this game. I really did because it's just how much better he is as a running back versus the other two. Taking the ball away from Nick a little bit more, and because he tends to just freak out whenever he's it's all on him.
Hey, at least we're going to get more than 3 points tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't remember us being held down to like that much, but yeah, I mean, I know these fans want to run their mouths. I mean, that's what fans do, but this just goes to show intelligent people. People that are not intelligent understand like what they're gonna do. They're gonna run their mouths. Everyone knows that we're hurt. You know what I'm saying? So if their victory is beating our practice squad and that's what it takes to feel better, like Green Bay last week, and that speaks a lot of their team more than ours. So um, we're not expected to win. Some people don't even have us competing, but whatever we do tomorrow is what we do. Win or lose, we still ride for the faithful. And if we do lose, and if we did get blowout, as long as we don't go out like them suckers, I'm all right. You know, I don't really give a damn what the Saints fans got to say personally.
I
You
hear
know,
that.
they want to run their mouths. Like I said, you guys, they choke when it comes down to playoffs. So kudos to you for beating the practice squad. If you do, okay, fine. You still suck in the postseason. So Saints won't be watching in. We know that.
Yeah, Drew Brees has struggled of late in the playoffs. So he's not the same quarterback
Whole
he was
franchise
before.
struggle.
Uh, but yeah, um, somebody in the comments mentioned that they feel that we're giving up on our Niners because we're not perceiving them to win. I don't understand where being realistic has to do with not believing in our team. I love my Niners. I know that E-Man loves his Niners, and I definitely know Florida Mike loves his Niners. But we're being realistic. Based on the roster that we have on the field tomorrow, uh, based on how we played against the Packers, it's going to be tough to win this game. So for us, I don't know. I can't speak for the gentleman in front of you, but I can speak for myself. With Nick Mullins, I am not confident in going into the Saints and trying to get that win. Do I want the Niners to win? Of course. Would I love the Niners if they win? Yes. But do I expect them to win? No. The Saints are a better team. Like Mike said earlier, we're playing with a backup depleted roster. So if you guys interpret that as us not being faithful or loving our team, so be it. But that has nothing to do that we don't like our team or we're not faithful enough. It's just we are realistic on this podcast. And we're not going to sugarcoat things. We're not going to sit there and tell you the Niners have a great chance of winning tomorrow because it's not true. With the roster, if we win tomorrow, I'll be surprised. I'll be shocked based on the personnel that we have. So for us to sit there and say we're going to win, at least I wouldn't say. Would you guys say that? Would you guys guarantee a win tomorrow based on the
I mean,
roster?
nothing's guaranteed. Even if we had a healthy roster, we saw that last year. We were
Yep.
fully or more healthy last year.
Very good
I don't
point.
think we had four that game, but either way, majority of our roster was there, and we still struggled to win that game. We only won by like a point or whatever. So my question is to anyone who's saying that if they're directing at this whole panel, um, my question to them then would be if we barely beat them with the full roster, what do you think we're going to do with backups?
Yep.
And that's all I wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? If you can honestly answer that question with confidence and say we're going to be better with our depleted roster, please explain why. You know, in a logical sense, we're not talking about your fandom for the team. Anybody can say what they want, but on this show, we don't just speak on being a homer. We speak on reality. You know,
Yep.
if we're not to our best potential, we're gonna keep it real. You
Yep.
know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. If you want to hear cheerleading, you can go to ESPN. They'll do that for you.
Yeah.
We're not ESPN. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I mean, nobody on this panel is saying that it's impossible for us to win, but the likelihood is very unlikely, and
Correct.
that's a very realistic answer. I mean, we've been saying it for the last few weeks. Have we not been right? We hadn't beat the Packers. We hadn't beat the Dolphins. We hadn't beat the Eagles. I mean, there's some teams that we've been saying this about, and we were right. So, you tell me. We didn't beat Seattle.
That's right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, being realistic with the quarterback that we have, not having our starting running back, not having our starting receiver in Debo, not having our starting tight end in Kittle, I understand the next man up philosophy. The next man up, step up and play. Okay, that's okay when you miss one player. When you have a complete team and you lose one player, okay, the next man up mentality. But when you lose pretty much every player in every key position of your team, that to me is a little bit more hard to recover from than losing, like say we just lost Kittle. We had Bosa, we had everybody else, we had D Ford. All we did is lose Kittle. Then I can understand the philosophy, the next man up. But when you're going to play the Saints and Drew Brees with Nick Mullins and Jarrett McKinnon and a rookie, a good rookie I may add, and Brandon Hughes, but he's still a rookie. Kendrick Bourne hasn't played in 12 days or haven't even practiced in 12 days because of the COVID situation. And to have a chance of winning tomorrow, come on, man. You guys have to be faithful but also realistic. I guarantee you, all you guys that are saying that we're not faithful to our team wouldn't bet $1,000 to a Saints fan that your team will beat their team. I can guarantee that. So it's easy to said than done, but it's hard to beat a good team like the Saints with the roster that we have. I'm not saying that we can't, but it's gonna take a lot of mistake-free. Our team cannot afford to turn over the ball because we're already depleted. And if Mullins turns over the ball, if we can't get interceptions, it's going to be a long day. And that's just the reality of it.
And the other thing is our defense hasn't been able to produce turnovers on the back end.
Yep.
So if you're top of the field against a Hall of Fame quarterback like Drew Brees, then
you're breaking up. Did you hear that, Mike? The little buzzing, or was it just me?
I did. I heard it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Is it still going around?
I just didn't want to make sure it was me. So I've been having some problems on my side as well. So it's been driving me nuts. So I want to make sure it was just in my ear. So all right, go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, given Drew Brees a short field, that's definitely not going to win any games, and our defense hasn't been able to we can't get the ball back. Like against that Green Bay game, I mean, there was a penalty. Barring that penalty, there would have been a turnover. But at that point in the game was already well out of hand, and our offense wasn't able to do anything. So the fact that Richie had a good game against Green Bay, I mean, it was all for nothing at that point. I mean, our defense was just letting them go down the field, or they were throwing bombs out there. So, yeah, and our defense ain't really good at focusing down one player. Like, look at the games that the big time players have had against us, like versus last season where we didn't give up all this, but we did have a better pass rush. So.
Yeah, we're at this point, I just wanted, like one of you guys said earlier, I just want to see an effort. My expectations are not great. If we get a win, great, but I just want to see an effort. Even if we get blown away, it doesn't matter. In a sense, because we're playing with a bunch of backups. It matters as a fan, but realistically, let me rephrase it. Not that it doesn't matter. I can deal with a blowout. I just want to see my players compete. I want to see Fred Warner do his thing. I want to see Brandon Ayuk do his thing. I don't even want to see Mullins compete. If these guys compete, but we just happen to play a better team, and we get beat up, I can accept that. I just want to see an effort from our squad. And it might be a moral victory, but it'll be a victory nevertheless if they come out and compete. I just don't want to see them with their heads down and knowing they're going to play a good team. And, I don't want to see I don't want to see the Dallas Cowboys type of team, the way they come out. I want to see a team that is going to do whatever they can to try to win, whether they win or not.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I mean, here's the other taking a factor too is like right before that game, we had 4 players that were projected to play in that game, and they just couldn't compete because of COVID. So, I mean, granted, I think it's crap because the early part of the season, we had one player test positive or whatever, and they were scared of other players and they would move games. Well, we had one player, and then it affected 4 of our players, and then they had some on their side. So it was like, I don't think that the league did a good job as far as handling the situation. Had it been a true positive, I don't think that they really handled that situation. Not making excuses for our guys or anything like that, but that could have been one of those trips like happened in baseball where they had 20 players get affected by COVID. If it was legit positive, then yeah, it could have been really bad for both teams on the travel.
True. I just want to answer the question of Nathaniel James. He's asking, do you think Shanahan has more time to prepare this week in comparison to the game with regards to Green Bay. There's no reason why we can't be competitive in this game and make it a game. For the first part of your question, yeah, Shanahan has more time to come out with a game plan. But if you don't have the personnel to be able to execute it, it doesn't matter how good of a game plan you have. If you don't have a personnel that can execute it, because I cannot expect a good game plan to be executed well by Nick Mullins as it would be by Garoppolo. So, do I think he'll have a good game plan? Yes. Would he be successful in calling those game plans based on what he sees tomorrow with his personnel? That'll be yet to be determined. And to the second question, I do expect our team to be competitive. They're professionals. They're going to come out and compete to the best of their ability. But there's only so much you can do based on what you have, those around you. So they can compete to the best. I expect Fred Warner to be the Fred Warner we've been watching all year. But is it enough just with Fred Warner to win the game? No. But I want to see competitors, and I think we'll see that. Any thoughts into that question, guys?
I think you hit the nail on the head, man. So I'm not gonna really beat that down. I mean, we've already kind of went over briefly about our thoughts about the game, and there's a few fans out there that's gonna. You were saying earlier that there were a few questioning our love for the Niners or something crazy like that. I don't know what constitutes people to be a fan. That's up to discretion among individuals. I mean, if we were to sit up here and just tell you what you want to hear, but we didn't own season tickets, then you'd be like, oh, you ain't no real fan. Yeah. I mean, how far does that go? So I'm not going to – me personally, I respect people's opinion, but if you're going to make comments like that and say little things like that, then at least have some facts to back it up. I mean, we do this show I'm in Florida, bro. I'm up here, and it's 12:30 my way. So I could be in bed right now. But I'm on this show because my brothers got on this show, and I'm committed to a goal, and that's to bring Niner talk to Niner fans. So our actions speak louder. So, yeah, in short summary, as far as the recent question, I think you hit the nail on the head. I'm not going to really elaborate too much more. You said everything that needs to be said. Moving on. We'll see tomorrow. Hopefully we win. If we do win, you guys can say whatever you want. Say, yeah, you weren't right. That's cool. I'll take that. But I'm not here for accolades. If we win, I'm happy. I'm not against us. You know what I mean? Certainly not. But hey, man, it's a very good damn Saints team. To be honest, they were good last year in the season. They're good this year in the season, and this year we haven't really been our typical Niners that we expected due to injury. So hopefully we can win. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, I take the realism thoughts. I'm a fan outside of this podcast. So whenever this podcast goes off and the Niners are on, I expect it don't matter if our team is the 2018 49ers where we had one of the worst rosters in the NFL, where we're projected to go 4-12 or 6-10. I expect to win every time I watch a game. I don't ever whenever I'm picking teams to win, like we go to this, I don't like picking my team to lose, and I don't want my team to lose. I mean, so yeah, outside of realism, I'm with you. I'm with Brent on that as far as the 49ers go. When I'm watching a game, I expect us to win, and I want us to win. And just like this week here, I mean, I want us to. I don't care if we're playing the best team in the NFL. I don't care. I want us to win. I want us to do good. And hell, I don't want to give up on this season just because we have so many injured players. I want us to be competitive, and I want people to shut up about the quarterback. Just leave it alone.
And draft position too. I don't want to hear that either.
It's too early for all that.
Yeah, let's tank so we can get a higher draft position. Listen, these guys are competitors. You know, if we lose games, it's going to be just because we've been outplayed by a better team because of the lack of our roster. But I don't think none of these Niners players are going to. Personally, this is just my own personal feeling. I don't think the Niner players give a damn who the Niners draft in next year's draft. They're playing for this year. They're not worried about next year. You know what I mean? But A question was asked, why do you think the Niners have so many injuries? I think that's a very hard question to answer, and I don't think nobody really has the answer to that. It's just been we've been just plagued with injuries. We had bad luck. People have blamed it on the coach and conditioning staff. We fired our last conditioning staff. We hired a whole new one, and we have the same outcome. So it's just been really bad luck. But to have a real good answer to that, I don't have an answer. Do you guys know why we have so many players on injury?
Not enough milk, I guess. I don't know.
Not enough
Couldn't
what?
tell you.
They
Milk.
don't eat the Wheaties?
No.
You got to eat the
Pers-
Wheaties.
I'll tell you why. Because the guy that was looked up to as an Olympian, he no, we're not gonna go there. Yeah, wasn't a guy. Turned out he wasn't a guy.
Thomas Earl sounds like Terrell Owens. Jimmy's my quarterback. Don't be talking about my quarterback. Remember that when he was talking about who was he talking to? Which quarterback was it?
Romo.
Romo. Yeah,
Romo.
right. Romo. Yeah, he's
You know,
my quarterback. I backstabbed him
even
3
when-
times, but he's my quarterback.
Even with these 6 weeks, though, guys, you got to take into consideration that he still may not be over this injury. So I mean, yeah, on our side, but we got to go and kick some ass, Nate.
Yeah,
And take some names.
Let me just repeat what Eric said. There you go. That's what he said.
Saw a comment. I saw a.
I'm sorry.
I saw a comment that scrolled up. I was trying to catch it. It was said something about everybody has a lot of injuries in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who has more than us?
Yeah,
Nobody.
I don't think there's not one team that has more injuries than us, bro.
How many
Not
teams
even
have their
close.
teams have their starting quarterback out? For weeks, consecutive weeks. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a question I'm posing because if I see a comment like that, I just want to know from the fan perspective that's feel that way. Do they feel that the injuries are even across the board when it comes to skill position and impact on the field? I don't know of another team that has that many injuries, so I'm just trying to figure out where that comment is going or where it's coming from. Because if they feel that every team has injuries, I mean, yeah, every team has injuries, but who has more impactful injuries in positions that actually matter on the field to help us, like the production? So I don't know
Yeah, but
anybody. You guys said you don't know, so I don't know if that comment. I'm just trying to understand the comment.
the Cowboys may have one less on IR, but their season, even with Dak and at quarterback, their season was already headed to being over.
So again, my question for that is if the Cowboys have one more on IR, are the Cowboys a quality team that we are?
They got one
I mean,
less.
because like I said, the question I asked was about production.
Yep.
I asked who has more than us. They say the Cowboys has one player. Okay. Now what about production of those players that are out? Are the Cowboys players that are out more productive than our players?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
In fact, I
when it comes to
think those
when it,
players being hurt might actually help them.
right, so when it comes to production of players, I mean they pulled it up on the game. They said like 70-something% of our offense is out. The most recent game we played, I think we had one player that from the offensive side of the ball that played in the Super Bowl. One player was it? You know what I mean? Like
from the last Super Bowl, you mean, or
right,
2 players?
right.
Or not? Well, yeah, just one now.
On the offensive
We
side,
haven't
Well, we had the only.
we haven't had a
Go ahead, Eric.
my bad. We haven't had a game where somebody hasn't went to IR this season. So
Yeah, really.
I
Every
mean, I'm
game we
just
lose a
being
player.
truthful. And not just a player, we lose them for multiple weeks. We're not just, and it may the player comes back and then the player goes down again. I think the one thing that I want the 49ers as an organization to do going forward after this season is to look into the player's injury history. But when they take into consideration drafting a player, because we've been, as an organization, we've been drafting a lot of injury prone players over the last few years. I mean, what good does it do to draft some superstar if he's never on the field? That is just my thought.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard when it comes to injuries. It's hard. I mean, if you have an injury prone player in college, consistently getting hurt, that's one thing. But if like Nick Bosa, him and his brother have a track record of getting hurt. But he's still his upside is better. See Bosa to me, and I could be wrong. I don't expect him to be. I don't think Bosa will ever play 16 games a season. I think he'll miss 2 or 3 games here. But hopefully he'll give us a whole 16 season. But so far, last year he only played he didn't play a full 16 game. This year he missed the rest of the year. So, but I still like the upside of Bosa on our defense. It's just when you draft, I hear what your point, what you're saying is, but it's really hard to determine whether a player is going to get hurt or not. Like honestly, when we drafted Jalen Hurd, did you expect him to be hurt like this for 2 years when he got drafted?
Well, look at the position he was drafted in, though. I'm saying like those early draft picks. Yeah, I mean Nick Bosa. You said Nick Bosa kind of had a track record. Well, Nick Bosa only had really one major injury in college, which was that core muscle, and he set out his senior year. So he came in and had a hamstring injury, and I think missed 1 or 2 games. But outside of that, he didn't really have to deal with much last year, and then this year was just unfortunate with the ACL.
Well, I think Nick Bosa, does he have a history going back to high school with injury?
I think he got hurt in high school as well. Did
Bosa in his high school,
last year?
His high school history, I think, was concerning as well as his college. I mean, if he had just one core injury, he would still set out a lot of games. And if you take a player like George Kittle, who probably don't have an injury history, he's missed games every season due to the way he plays. So, I mean, it's one of those things like, can you really say injury history is the biggest factor? Because Kittle, I'm not aware of his injury history in college, but it appears that he didn't have a injury history like that too. So, yeah, I think Kenny making it the point right there. Appreciate that, Kenny, about his Bosa in high school, because I was aware he was hurt in high school as well and sat out for a length of time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm mad about the most about the draft. And I've been saying this. I actually have YouTube footage of me saying this during the draft. I can prove it. Normally, I wouldn't be like one of those guys that would come out and say, man, after the fact, like, we should have got this guy, we should have got this guy. It's a crapshoot every year. But the 2017 year was completely obvious. We needed a quarterback, right? And we went, that year was when we got Solomon Thomas, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's no way in hell in 2017 you can convince me Solomon Thomas was a great pick for us. I don't give a damn how he looked in college. I don't care that he did great at Stanford. Deshaun Watson was coming off a national championship. And to this day, I'll stand on what I said. That's the only time that I can recall that I felt dispassionate about getting a player in the draft. Normally, I'm kind of like whatever the organization needs. I'm supporting. But I still don't understand how Solomon Thomas was picked when Deshaun Watson was clearly available. And at that time of college, like Patrick Mahomes, I'm not tripping about. Because in college, ain't nobody was talking about Mahomes like Deshaun Watson. I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun Watson was the hottest quarterback, period. For the hottest player in college. But that's just my humble opinion. I'm going to stand on that to the day. And that's the only time I made it a little bit of a response on the draft, man. I'm like, damn. But hey, we are where we are now.
Yeah, I agree. I can't disagree with. I mean, knowing Solomon Thomas the way he turned out to be, I think I mean, we had Eric Armstead. I don't understand the factor of drafting Solomon Thomas to play a position that Eric Armstead plays. But I think it was more of a safe pick for John Lynch in his first year as a general manager. I ain't making excuses for him, but I'm just basing out that I think it was a safer pick for him. It hasn't planned out, and it's going to come back to bite him in the butt. It already has come back and bite him in the butt. But I think Solomon Thomas was more of a safer pick coming out of Stanford. I guess he had a couple of classes with him. But I agree. I would have loved Deshaun Watson. We didn't have Jimmy. You got to remember, Jimmy G wasn't on the roster then. When we took Solomon Thomas, but I guess they were not high on Deshaun Watson. And a lot of people said the Niners should have picked Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, well, now we should have picked him because we know what he turned out to be. But coming out of college, he wasn't a big prospect as Deshaun Watson was. But I would have been happy with Deshaun Watson with that pick. But neither here.
I mean,
there,
I don't know how true it was, but I've heard that they were high on Kirk Cousins. So that's the reason why they didn't go after a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? I don't know if they weren't as high on Deshaun. I think they had a mindset of this is the guy that I want. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things, man. Like, you got to think about upside. I don't know what went on in there. I'm not part of the GM and the coach, but man, it's still head scratching me, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like, to this day, it bothers me, man, a little bit that, you know what I'm saying? That we got Solomon Thomas. We already had that position.
Yeah.
And you got a championship winning quarterback who's beat like a somewhat NFL caliber defense in Alabama. You know what I mean? But at this point, hey, it's crying over spilled milk now. But like I said, I got 2017 footage of me being adamant about getting Deshaun Watson. And if Kirk Cousins was the guy that they wanted, you see how that panned out. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think it was a mixture of a lot of things. I think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, like you said, being a first-time GM and head coach at that, tenure or whatnot. But at the same time, man, it's like somebody has to be holding those guys accountable with that type of mentality. You know what I mean? And be like, hey, man, look at who you passed up on. Deshaun Watson was a clear choice to not pass. Like, if you talk about being safe, what's safer pick than Deshaun Watson? It's a no-brainer. The man that won championships, man, was beasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not just that. I know that we were looking into, trade partners and stuff like that too in the off season. And Jimmy wasn't initially our target. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, but
well, Kirk Cousins was. Kyle Shanahan for some reason loves Kirk Cousins. I don't know why. He has a soft for him, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I think Mike said earlier was correct. Kenny confirmed it. They were high on Cousins, and I think that was that mentality. We're gonna try to get Cousins in the off season. Let's run with Hoyer for 1 year. Let's build our defense. Let's build a pass rush with Thomas. I'm not agreeing with that, but I think that's the logic they went with. But Deshaun Johnson, I mean, being a Crimson Tiger myself, I liked him. He's a great player, and he would have been better than Jimmy. So, but unfortunately, they went with John Lynch went with comfortability. And he didn't really know his scouts that well yet because it was his first year. So I really believe he went with somebody he felt comfortable with, and hoping that Thomas would have planned out, and he hasn't. The good thing is with John Lynch, though, he has learned from his mistakes. Taking Deebo Samuel in the second round, not so much with Pettis, but he learned from Pettis as well, and we took Brandon Ayuk. And Brandon Ayuk looks like he's planning out. So they tend to learn from the mistakes, and they're getting better. But I agree with you, Mike. I wish Deshaun Watson, was on our team, and not Solomon Thomas.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know that they're getting better when it comes to quarterback yet. It has really yet to be seen. No. They I mean,
I
it's
mean,
hard to
say other
say.
players, not quarterback. You're right at quarterback. We haven't drafted a good quarterback, and since what? Oh my God, Joe Montana.
No,
No, and I mean,
it
I
ain't
don't,
been
I
that
don't want
long.
to let that. I don't want to, let my feelings on. I'm only speaking on the quarterback. I'm
Got you,
not the
got you,
first
got
pick
you.
of that year. I'm not speaking on their overall draft. So I like, and when people hear things, just in case, and I'm not saying this because someone said something because nobody did, but when people hear things, don't overanalyze it and don't add on to it. If I said what I said, I'm only talking about one particular thing. So if I say the first pick, I wasn't really happy about, and I was really passionate about getting Deshaun Watson that year. That's it. I'm not talking about the entire draft. If you assume I'm talking about the entire draft, then you should ask me, am I talking about the entire draft or am I just talking about the first pick? Because I'm only talking about the first pick. I said nothing about the entire draft. You know what I mean? So just to clear that up, if anyone out there is thinking, because I know how people are, they'll hear a comment, they'll be like, "Oh man, Mike don't like the way they draft." Mike never said that. I just said the first pick. That's all I'm talking about. The draft was fine, but the first pick of that year, I didn't like.
Gotcha. Just real quick to answer Corey. No, I don't. Nobody's seeing blur. Is anybody else seeing the comments on the screen blur?
Nah, not at all. I can see him clear.
Okay.
They're good.
Uh, Corey, I think you need to check those eyes again, brother.
I think it's just your eyes shutting. And
It's late. Yeah, it's late.
it's gonna-
Yeah, we're gonna call it. I mean, I appreciate Mike jumping on here. It's late where he's at. I believe E-Man. You guys have the same time, right? Or you're 1 hour earlier than. What time is it in your
Yeah.
time over there?
11:50 over here.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and you're what? Almost 1 o'clock, Mike.
Yeah.
Yep, indeed.
Wow. So we're gonna. With that said, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We apologize for not coming on yesterday, but we are able to come on tonight. I appreciate my boy Florida Mike stepping in. Definitely E-Man for wanting to do a live tonight. He was actually the culprit of having this live tonight. He wanted to do one, so I want to give him credit where credit is due. And then my boy Nathaniel, the Boston Hater, on the comments doing his thing. Eric and everybody, Corey, Thomas, everybody that's come in and charmed in. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for being part of the Niner Sickness podcast. Let's just support our team no matter what, win or lose. Let's stay faithful. Let's remain faithful, and check us out on Monday as we do a post game, and we'll talk about the outcome of tomorrow's game on Monday. So join us if you can at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We appreciate each and every one of you. Anything you guys want to say before we call it a night, guys?
Let's go out there and get this W, man. Let's get back on this. And let's fight hard. Let's play with heart.
How about you, Mike?
I think New Orleans sucks. Fan base sucks. Everybody sucks in their state except E-Man.
I agree with that 100%. My computer actually this thing is running hot on my CPU, but it pulled through, man, for almost an hour. So this thing is it's up there. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for being part of the game. Nathaniel James, what's up, brother? He's from the UK. So watching us from the UK, man, and big supporter of the Niner Sickness podcast. They have their own podcast as well. And you guys got to check out his podcast. It is pretty good. Nathaniel, before I call it a night, type it in real quick. Type in the name of your podcast. I can't remember at the top of my head. If you guys want to check it out, you guys are welcome to check it out. How close are you? Are you close? No, the UK is not close to where you're at, right, Florida, Mike? No, that's whole far from you. I'm thinking
That's all the way across the ocean.
Well,
the person from the UK, what's their favorite football team?
Niners, baby.
No, the other football.
Oh,
I'm just asking out of curiosity.
The name of real quick. The name of their podcast is called Frequency 49. So check it out. You guys can see it on the Podbean. So check it out.
Wow.
Support it. And then,
Niner fans in the UK?
huh?
Yeah.
They have a chapter.
Niner
Niner fans in
worldwide.
the UK?
Yeah, he has a
Oh,
big old
okay.
chapter in the UK.
What's
Prestige
his
worldwide.
soccer team? Who's his favorite soccer club?
Hey, Nathaniel James, what is your favorite? Like he can't hear you. What is your favorite soccer team?
Better not say Tottenham.
Oh, bro, don't start. Don't behave. Nathaniel says, "Yeah, he's only about an 8-hour flight." Shut up. Both you and Eric. I don't fly, so I don't
Yeah.
know. Oh, here we go. Let's see here.
We do have England in Disney World and Epcot.
No, he didn't. I don't know. I don't know if he watches soccer. Maybe.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
But anyway, all right, we're gonna go to Portsmouth is what? I don't know, is that a team?
If I had to choose.
Portsmouth. Oh,
Hey,
he
but I'm not
says
saying it.
Portsmouth if I had to choose. If that means anything.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
all right, guys. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it a night, man. We appreciate you guys. Eric, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you, Florida Mike and Boston Hater on the comments. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys on Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and hopefully we'll have some good news for you guys on Monday.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Yeah, I'll take it easy.